In this video, I'm going to tear apart a 2011 27-inch iMac and replace the graphics card to make it more powerful so that it can run newer versions of the Mac operating system. So how did I get started down this path? Well, one, the 2011 iMac is easily upgradable. You can take off the front screen and have access to the hard drive, memory, the CPU, the graphics card. Basically, the entire internals can be replaced. Much easier than the newer iMacs that require a heat gun to take off the screen. Additionally, they're really inexpensive. So why not? Picked one up off eBay, shipped to my house. Had to replace the power supply, but it was only $100 for the entire machine. $20 used for the power supply. So very inexpensive to get into. Fun little project. Additionally, the reason that I'm going to be putting in the 765M graphics card that you're going to see today, it drops right into the same slot that the 6970M or 6770M use that came default in these iMacs. So there's a lot of opportunity here for upgrades, but I will definitely have a recap at the end on whether this was worth it or not, and then any other considerations. Okay. Go ahead and remove the 765. And the goal here is, of course, to get the GPU die covered and then also cover these memory modules with a little bit of paste so that when we attach it, everything is basically properly making contact with the heatsink. That'll keep the memory cool as well as the main core cool. So now what I'm going to do is line up a little bracket here so that I know once it's actually screwed in where everything's going to be making contact. And looking through the light here, you can see that the VRMs, let's see if we can get this up on the screen here. Yep, okay, up at the top here. The VRMs are making off-centered contact with the top of the heatsink. So that's the area that we're going to cut down. And then down here, looks like the memory will not, even with that modification, will not make great contact here. But I do have some thermal, not compound, but the actual thermal tape that I'll be using, which should help out there. I see there's another VRM on this side. It's actually gonna potentially make contact with the heatsink as well. Doesn't look like that will interrupt anything as long as I put a piece of electrical tape in there and just make sure that the top of this cap is covered, so even if it does make contact, it won't cause a short. So now to actually give myself a couple guides of where I need to cut. So what I'm going to do is just fill in everything that I want to remove here. And that should get us what we're looking for. You see the squares in the cutout here. And what I'll do is, of course, go past these a little bit to make sure that all the excess is removed. Now, go ahead and start cutting. Okay, let's go ahead and do a quick test mount for the whole setup here now that I've got that plate removed. Okay. Oh yeah. Perfect. Okay. Just using some basic Arctic silver here. It doesn't need a lot. I don't have much left, so that's perfect. Just a bit right in the middle. Give a little bit closer look here. That actually is potentially too much. You really only need about a grain of rice, especially for a very small die like this. plugged in. Boot noise, it's good. It's good. You always want that. Now what we do lose is the actual boot screen. So the GTX 765M, there we go. Very cool. Will only hit once the operating system actually loads in the drivers. Okay, so the project is complete. And now the big question, was it worth it? Well, if you like tinkering with computers, it's absolutely worth it. There is a lot of power in these old machines. They're well faster than the 13-inch MacBook Pros, all the way up until probably even on par with the newer quad cores. You can add more memory. You can switch out the hard drive with an SSD to make it faster. You can switch out the CPU with a better one. You can switch out the graphics card like what we did today. But if you aren't really handy with a screwdriver and extensive teardowns, and you're worried of breaking a small cable that can cost you $50 to $100 within the machine, yeah, it's not worth it at all. In fact, I would only recommend this to people who enjoy tinkering with computers, because even after you've replaced all the hardware, replacing the graphics card, for example, is going to make it so that your brightness control is no longer there within the operating system, because it just doesn't work, right? Nobody's figured out a workaround for that one yet. You also have to go in and turn on and off certain functionality of the operating system with additional patchers. DOS Dude has one out there if you want to go and research that. The DOS Dude, Mojave, and Catalina patcher. So you have to add additional software in for every single change that you make to these older machines. It becomes almost in the realm of a lightweight Hackintosh. So there's a lot of maintenance that has to be done once you start to upgrade these older machines, which makes me very hesitant to recommend any one of them for someone like your parents or friend who isn't as computer savvy. Now, honestly, the default operating system, the last one that you can upgrade these machines to, the 2011 iMac, is High Sierra. And High Sierra is still fantastic. So I would say, for many people, go out and pick one of these up used and just keep it on High Sierra. Has support for 32-bit as well as 64-bit applications, has a quad core, upgradable to 16 gigabytes of memory. A lot of positives here in this older machine. Great screen, right? So still a lot of life in these, but if you don't like tinkering, don't go through the process that I just did. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, and I just mostly did it because it was fun. All right, have a good one and enjoy tearing apart your machines.